everybody, it's Femtrooper, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite games that were shown at E3 2017. I've come up with a list of 10 games that I want to talk about that were my favorites from E3 this year, but I do have honorable mentions and just a few quick things to sort of talk about for the conference, so let's start with number 10. I'm really looking forward to Metroid Samus Returns, and I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not even sure if this is a game that I would be interested in, but it looked really interesting, and as somebody who's never been a Metroid person, I feel like maybe it would be a good way to get into the series aside from Super Metroid. But it looks really cool. It's on 3DS, and it was nice to see a new 3DS game from Nintendo. So it's something that I have my eye on, and when it comes out, I'm kind of gonna sort of watch and see what reviews dictate. Number 9 is A Way Out, and this game looks really interesting, kind of like you're breaking out from prison, and it looks like it could be really fun, really interesting. It's on all platforms, at least PS4 and Xbox One, and it had my interest. The trailer was really fascinating, so it's definitely one I'm going to keep my eye on. Number 8 is a game called The Last Night, which is for Xbox One, and the reason I think it looks really cool is it has this futuristic sort of cyberpunk vibe, a little bit of a pixelated graphics look. It looked really interesting. I don't really know what it's going to be, and clearly this is going to be like a downloadable title, but it looks really interesting, and it's definitely one that I'm going to continue to see when it comes out. There's no date. It's 2018, at least right now. It's to be announced. But it looked like a really interesting game, and just the graphical style made me want to definitely check it out when it comes out. Number 7 is a game that they showed at E3 last year, and actually when I saw it last year, I kind of rolled my eyes and went, who cares? But they showed a lot of gameplay footage, and it actually made me want to play it, and that's Days Gone for PS4. I saw it last year, and I thought, oh my god, another zombie game, who cares? I'm really sick of this. But this time when they showed gameplay, it actually looked like it would be a really good game. So I take it back. It looks kind of cool. So we'll see what happens when it comes out. It doesn't come out till 2018, so no rush. It's not coming out anytime soon. But it did look really interesting. Number 6 is a game that we saw last year as well, and I was honestly just waiting for it to come on the screen to see a date, and we have one, thank God. It's Cuphead, and it's coming out September 29th on Xbox One. I've been waiting for this 2 E3s now, 3 E3s, because they showed it at 2015 E3, I think. And I remember seeing it thinking, oh my god, that looks amazing. It had this sort of Felix the Cat, little Lulu, Betty Boop, 30s style animation, and it just looked incredible, like you were watching a cartoon, and it's a platformer. It just looked really, really cool. So the fact that we are getting a date, it's coming out in a few months, I'm really, really happy about that. Number 5 is South Park, The Fractured But Whole, and it looks amazing as usual. We've seen this before. It's not a new announcement by any means, but we do have a date now, and it's October 17th. Really excited because I thought The Stick of Truth was fantastic. Not only because I actually thought it was a really fun, silly JRPG, which I love, but it's a South Park game, and it just felt like you were watching an amazing South Park episode. So the fact that it's about superheroes this time, I think it's going to be great, and I hope that they have fixed maybe some of the glitchy stuff from the first one, but even then, it wasn't that bad, so it's one I've been waiting for quite some time. Number 4 is one they didn't really show at one of the conferences, but they showed gameplay footage at E3 this year, and that's Ni no Kuni 2. We're getting it November 10th. I'm really excited because Ni no Kuni is actually one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. I just thought it was fantastic. It was so me. It was, it was like a Studio Ghibli movie. Just the graphics alone were worth it to play that game. I really enjoyed all aspects of it. The story, I just like the light stuff, just really, really cool. It was very childlike, and I thought it was awesome. So I can't wait for that one. That's a definite must-buy for me. Number 3 is Detroit Become Human. I'm so excited for this. Again, no date. We saw this last year. We still don't have a date. So I'm assuming it'll come out next year or we'll see it again next E3. I really hope it comes out before next E3, but whatever. I don't mind games being delayed if they're really good in the end. And we saw more of it this time, and it just looks so cool. It made me think of a kind of like a Heavy Rain, kind of like, not a visual novel, but maybe a little bit with choices you have to make, and just looks really, really cool. It's one of the ones, actually, that I was so excited about last year. So seeing it again, I have to admit I was a bit disappointed we didn't get a date, because I saw it and I thought, oh my god, they showed Detroit, and I was like, okay, Detroit Become Human, and then I'm like, where's the date? And no date. So that kind of sucks, but I'm still really excited about it. Number 2 is the new Spider-Man game for PS4, which still doesn't have a date. We saw it last year. It looked cool. Now we got gameplay footage this year, and it looks really awesome. It makes me think of Spider-Man 3 for the PS3, which came out a long time ago, and that was actually one of the first games I played on the PlayStation 3, and it was so fun, just going around New York, sort of doing little missions. It was like Grand Theft Auto, but with Spider-Man, so really cool. Honestly, it looked really neat. So that one I'm excited for, especially because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. So if we get a really good Spider-Man game, I'm so there. My number 1 most hyped game is not really surprising. It is Super Mario Odyssey for the Switch. October 27th, we have a date now. They announced this game a little while back, but we all knew we were going to get tons of footage and tons of information about it. I remember watching the trailer and I thought, okay, I'm so excited. It was like that childlike wonder of like a new game coming out. It was that feeling of like the Nintendo 64 is coming out or something. It just gave me like, I was just like a new Mario game that is reminiscent of Super Mario 64 or Galaxy series. Looks really cool. I'm glad to see them spending some time on something like that other than the new Super Mario Brothers series, which isn't bad. It's just kind of getting a little stale, so I'm definitely looking forward to Super Mario Odyssey. It looks amazing. I keep listening to that song they keep playing, and they're sticking with the jazz style of they're just sticking with that jazz style music they did with Super Mario for the Wii and Wii U. Looks really awesome. I have nothing bad to say about that. It actually, when they show him in the kind of Middle Eastern sort of pyramid level, that looks so cool, and it made me think of like games like Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64, where there's all these different worlds you get to go to, and none of them make any sense, but it's just so fun, and that's what it made me think of. I just want this amazing game, and I don't think I'll be disappointed. Nintendo, to be honest with you, rarely disappoints. I know that people had issues with the Wii U, but let's be honest, all the games that came out were really good. So, it might have been a failed console, but it had amazing games. Just quickly, some honorable mentions of other games that were shown at E3 that looked really cool, or at least in my opinion. I've got my list here. Anthem looks like a really cool game, like a space, kind of made me think of Mass Effect. Could be cool, I don't know. Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. The only reason I think it looks cool is because they finally listened to everybody and they're doing a solo campaign. So that doesn't mean it's going to be amazing, but it definitely has my curiosity because it has the solo campaign stuff. I could care less about Battlefront 1 because it didn't have solo and I don't play online like ever, so I'm kind of excited about that. Artful Escape looked really interesting. I believe that was for Xbox One. There's a game called Ashen. They didn't show that much, but it looked cool, so I'm down. Ori and the Will of the Wisps looked really cool, but I haven't played the first one, so the only reason I'm mentioning it is because it just looks so damn awesome that I feel like it makes me want to play the first one, and then hopefully I can play this. They did announce last week that Undertale is getting a physical release. Yes. So for PS4 and Vita, I will definitely be buying that for the Vita. Another physical game for the Vita is awesome, and just the fact that it's Undertale, I have been waiting so long to play this game because I refuse to play it on the computer. I knew they were going to release this for consoles, so I'm glad I waited. Metroid 4 was announced, and everybody was like pissing themselves, and that's so cool, but they didn't really show anything, so it's great that they're announcing it. I'm excited just because I think it might be a really cool game. Again, I'm going to mention again, I'm not a Metroid person, so I didn't get the same amount of like giddiness as other people did, but it's not that it looks cool, they didn't show anything, but I'm sure it'll be really cool. I don't think Nintendo will screw it up. 2 other games for the Switch that looked really cool. Kirby, new Kirby game, new Yoshi game. They both didn't have titles, just Kirby and Yoshi. I'm more on the Yoshi side. I'm not a huge Kirby person, but the Yoshi game looks awesome. It actually really looked like Yoshi's Story for the N64, so I'm excited for it based on that alone. They didn't really show it, I guess, at E3. It was not at a conference or anything, but Danganronpa Volume 3. I'm just really excited about that, so I'll mention that. The reason it's not on my top 10 wasn't really talked about, but I mean, it's up there. It's like a day 1 purchase for me. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was shown. They showed a bunch of gameplay. Looks really cool. It's not a day 1 for me just because I still haven't finished the first one and whatever. But it looks really cool. In terms of Nintendo, they didn't talk about a Super Nintendo Mini. I was really shocked. I really thought they were going to mention that. And the other thing was they only focused on the Switch for their spotlight. I mean, that's fine, but they did announce some new 3DS games in their Nintendo Treehouse sort of presentation, and I mean, that's cool, but I feel like not as many people are watching those. They're really just watching the spotlight, and the fact that they didn't even include 3DS at all, to me, was a little weird, because as much as the Switch is the new thing, I felt like they could have spent 5 minutes out of the half an hour they had, or 7 minutes or something, to at least talk about some of the 3DS games, or show a few trailers, because they kind of didn't bother, and there's like millions and millions of people who have 3DSs, so I thought that was kind of weird, but they did talk about it in the Treehouse stuff, so I can't fault them, but I just found it a little odd. In terms of conferences, I didn't find E3 this year to be super, like, epic like it was in other years. I found last year and the year before that to be way more exciting, but whatever. I mean, last year Sony went all out. This year Sony just had stuff to show, and I didn't find that there was a lot of really exciting moments in the conferences, but overall I thought it was still really good E3, and like clearly there are a ton of games I'm excited about, especially those 10 that I mentioned, so it's not like it's a bad E3, it just wasn't as eventful, but you can't have, you know, exciting, crazy stuff every year. That's just the way it is. So those are my thoughts about E3 2017. Overall, really good. Lots of games I just cannot wait for. So hopefully we do get them on the dates that they said. What were your favorite games of E3? Let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.